Hello, good afternoon, and welcome once again to your wealth class on Lagos Television. I'm Abayomi Obabulujo. It is another week of decision in Nigeria, and of course, we'll be spending time to see how the Nigeria's equities market would be responding to this. We've seen the best and the worst of performances after the announcement of the presidential as well as the National House of Assembly elections. And of course, quite a number of people actually believed that the market responded negatively, but that is somewhat contrary to my personal opinion. In a couple of minutes, I'm going to tell you why I believe so. But meanwhile, today on the floor of the Nigerian Stock Exchange, being the second trading session in the month of March 2019, the first session being last Friday ended positively, but week on week, the market was down 2.12%. But for Friday, because if you recall, on Monday of last week, the market was up. Then Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, the market was down to close the month of February. If you want to look at the general performance of the market in the month of February, it will give you 3.8% growth as against 2.8% decline in the month of January. Like I did say on the radio, for those who monitor or follow us also on the radio, I did say in the last 5 years and more, what I can say, anyway, that is not to say that that is what is going to be strictly right, but from what I can see from previous data, the performance of the market in February had always been the performance of the market in March. In other words, in years when the market experienced a decline in February, it also went ahead to experience a decline in March. And in years where the market experienced growth in February, it also went ahead to record growth in the month of March. But from what I can see now, bearing in mind that the election this week, by any standard, is going to be tougher than the previous two we saw, because when you talk about politics, it is localized. And so the elections that will be coming this Saturday has to do with the state, not the national. We're talking about the gubernatorial and state house of assembly elections. Definitely far more localized than the previous two. So the competition, the contest, the fight is going to be far more keen than what we saw last week, and a lot of intrigues. So we'll continue to monitor how the market eventually will react to this. And I do say from experience that, you see, the gubernatorial and the House of Assembly election might not necessarily end exact way the presidential and the National House of Assembly elections actually ended. I recall 1983, I was in my mid-secondary school years then. I could still recall that the presidential election went very well, but the governorship election was what led to the eventual military takeover of that year, right? So that's to tell you how keen the election of the localized election that is talking about the gubernatorial and the House of Assembly election can be. But plus or minus, we hope and we believe that this election will come and they will go, and the results will be announced probably on Sunday or Monday, and Nigeria will still remain together as one, and the market will still resume normal trading on Monday. Now, from what I've seen, in the last 1 year, I was just taking time to look at some of the things I wrote on the pages of StocksWatch Weekly newspaper, particularly about this time, 2018. The market, one way or the other, had danced to the drumbeat of elections 2019. That had always been the song in the mouth of so many people, foreign investors, local institutional investors, and retail investors alike. Everybody had this fear that has been nursed. And of course, whatsoever you nurse eventually will germinate and then grow to become a force. And so, but by this Saturday, all those fears will have been wiped off, and then normalcy will return into the mind of everybody. Those that are saying election will cause total disintegration in Nigeria will have no such analysis to make again until another 4 years. And this is happening at a time when audited reports will be released to the market. And we've seen quite a number. We've seen from Zenith, we've seen from UCAP, we've seen from Prudential, Africa Prudential, we've seen from MC Nicole, we've seen from Nigerian Breweries, we've seen from Dangote Cement. We're going to be taking the time to look at the results from MC Nicole and that of Dangote Cement today in this presentation. And so, but getting closer to the end of this month, because the rule says that by end of March, as an audit, as a quoted company with December as year end, you should submit your audit report to the stock exchange. So the elections will be over. Then it is the 2019 earnings season. And so what should you be doing, right? So we will be looking at all this on the platform today. We'll still be talking a little bit about Fieldson Healthcare PLC, because this Wednesday is when the right issue of this organization is going to open, and then we're going to be looking at some of the factors that makes the company thick, such that should make you to invest in them. Today, we're going to be looking at how do they treat those that are working there? Because you see, when, I think I wrote it, or was it I said it on the radio, when you are investing in an organization, there are two principal things you are doing, or we could extend it to three. Number one, you are investing in the people, and the people will include, in this case, the owners of the business, and then the managers of the business, the board, and all those that are working there. If you see any organization whereby people don't want to work, they are always laying off staff, and they have not been able to build confidence in the mind of those that are working there, that is not the kind of organization you should invest in. The second that you look out for will be the product. And then if you see that the products that the organization is producing is such that you in particular will continue to take, wherever age you are, maybe you are young, you are averagely aged, and you are old, you will still be consuming their products. That kind of organization you should look to invest in. And of course, the third is the assets that that the organization has been able to accumulate, to gather, to build over the years. We will talk in the next 3-4 weeks when the right will be open. We will be talking more about Fieldson Healthcare. But today we are going to be looking at the relationship between the managers and the workers of the organization. All right? But currently,